So good morning and welcome to our video lecture about the antiderivative. So first, let us know what is the definition of antiderivative. Antiderivative is also called as an integral, and the process used in the antiderivative is called the integration. So, now, integration is the opposite process of differentiation and hence the name antiderivative. So, antiderivative basically is the opposite of derivative. Now that we know what is antiderivative, let us now go to the relationship of antiderivative and derivative. So, though derivative and antiderivative does have relationship to one another, to find out the answer to that question, let us differ. So, derivative is used to find the slope of a function. The antiderivative is used to find the area under the curve of a function that is integrated. Is integrated. So let's say we have here a graph, and then we have here a slope. This slope here is what we are looking for in the derivative, while in the antiderivative with the same graph and the slope, we are looking the area under the slope or under the curve here. This is what we are looking for in the antiderivative. So let's have an example. Let's say we have here given of f of x is equal to 2x. No. Let's say we have here x squared plus 2x minus 4. Now, let us derive this. We have here given f of x is equal to x squared plus 2x. So we use the f prime of x as a symbol to get the derivative. So we know in our previous lessons about the derivative, we multiply the exponent to the constant. In this case, we have the exponent 2 and the imaginary constant, which is the 1. So we multiply 2 times 1, and then we just have to copy the variable and the exponent. So here in the derivative, we subtract 1 to the exponent, just like that. And then we do the same process with the second term. So we have here the constant 2 and the exponent, imaginary exponent 1. So 2 times 1, and then we copy the variable and then the imaginary one here. Minus 1. And then in derivative, the constant will always be equal to 0. So the derivative of 4 is equal to 0. So minus 0. Let us simplify this answer. So 2 times 1 is equal to 2. Then copy the variable. 1 minus 1 is equal to 0. So let us simplify this. 2x. We can erase the exponent here since it was 1. So any variable that is raised to 0 will be equal to 1. So 2 times 1. Our final answer will be 2x plus 2 times 1 is equal to 2. This is the derivative of the given function f of x, x squared plus 2x minus 4. While in the antiderivative, we have the same given function here. F of x is equal to x squared plus 2x minus 4. We use the uppercase F with capital. We use the capital F of x to use the symbol of the antiderivative. So we just have to copy the first term. So x squared. So in the derivative, we subtract 1 in the exponent. Here in the antiderivative, we add 1 to the exponent. And then we copy that, the exponent, and then plus 1. So 2 plus 1. Plus, we have an imaginary exponent here, which is the 1. Then we add 1 to it. Then we just copy this. 1 plus 1. Minus. So in the derivative, the constant will be always equal to 0. Here in the antiderivative, the constant, we will just have to add an x to it or multiply an x to it. So 4 will be x. 4 will be 4x. 4x. And then we simplify this expression. So x, 2 plus 1 will be equals to 3. And then 2 plus 1 will be 3. Plus 2x. 1 plus 1 is equal to 2. 1 plus 1 is equal to 2. Minus 4x. Oh, I forgot. In the antiderivative, there is this called integration, constant of integration, which is the symbol plus c. Plus c. So simplify this. X cubed over 3. And then 2 divided by 2 will be equal to 1. So we can just cancel this one. So the remaining x squared minus 4x plus c. This will be the antiderivative of a given function x squared plus 2x minus 4. So that is the difference between derivative and antiderivative. So another way to differentiate antiderivatives and derivatives is that we have here. So let's say we have f prime of x, and then go to this will become f of x, and then f of x will become capital F of x. This process is called antiderivatives. backwards, let's say we have here capital F of x and then going to f of x and then going to f prime of x. This is called the derivatives. So let us now have lecture number 2 to discuss the terminologies used in this topic. And good day everyone. Today we're going to cover key terms about antiderivatives that will make solving problems easier. Number 1. Antiderivatives is the reverse of derivatives, and a function whose derivatives is a function given. And let's proceed to the second one. Indefinite integral is a representation of the family of all antiderivatives. And the third one is integration is simply the process of finding the antiderivatives. And the fourth one, derivative. Just like what I say, antiderivative is the reverse of derivative. So derivative is the reverse of antiderivative. And the derivative also is the rule of change of a function. The next one is the constant of integration, or the positive c. Constant of integration is the positive c that added in the antiderivatives. The function is a relation that assigns exactly one output in each input. And the second one is the differentiation. And the differentiation is the process of finding the derivative. Lastly is the power rule of integration. This is a rule used to find antiderivatives of power ops. Now we're done with the terminologies. Let's proceed to the lecture number 3 to discuss the motivation.
Before we head along and learn more about antiderivatives, let's first have a recall on how to derive a function. Earlier, when differentiating the antiderivatives and derivatives, we have a small recap about how to derive a polynomial function. So we're going to skip that. So now, let's have this example. So you have two factors here. So how are we going to solve this? To solve this, we're going to apply the power rule. With the power rule, we have the formula factor 2 times first factor times the derivative of factor 2 is equals plus factor 2 times factor 1 first derivative. To solve this, we need to find the derivative of these two factors here first. So we have 5x raised to 2 plus 2 and 2. And deriving this, we need to multiply the constant and the exponent. So we have 5 times 2, we get 10x. Then this is 0. So we only get 10x. And the second factor, we have 3x minus 5. There's an imaginary 1 here, so multiply 3 times 1 is just 3 and calculate this. And 0, so we only have to divide. Now let's transform this formula to our solution. We have first factor, which is 5x raised to 2 plus 2 times our first derivative, our second derivative of our first derivative of second factor, which is 3. So that's 3 plus second factor, which is 3x minus 5 times first derivative of factor 1, which is 10x. Then we multiply 3 by these two numbers. So we get 3 times 5x is 15. Don't forget the exponents. Plus 3 times 2 is 6. Then plus multiply this 10x by 4 is, so there are 30. Both have x, so we will have x raised to 2 minus 5 times n is 50. X. So let's add them together. We have 15 x squared plus 6 and 30x squared minus 50x. So we just bring down 6, bring down 50x, and add 15 and 30 together, so we get 45x squared. This will be our final answer. Now let's have the quotient. When using quotient rule, we use it on rational functions. For example, 2x squared minus 2x and 7x raised to minus 5. First, we understand that this is our numerator and this is our denominator. Our formula has numerator times first derivative for denominator minus our denominator times first derivative for numerator over 7 over our denominator minus 1 raised to. So first, we're going to find the derivatives of both the numerator and the denominator. Our numerator is 2x squared minus 3x. Finding the first derivative. 2 times 2 is 4 minus 1. So we have just 1, so we don't need to place it there. Minus, this is just 3 times 1, so we're going to 3. This is the first derivative of our numerator. And the denominator, first derivative. Let's write it first, 7x squared minus 5. 7 times 2 is 42. Minus 1. So we'll just x, and this is a constant, so it's not going to be the 1. So these are the first derivatives of our numerator and denominator. Now let's change these letters to our given. We have numerator 2x raised to 2 minus 3x times the derivative of our denominator, which is 14x, minus our derivative denominator 7x squared minus 5 times the derivative, first derivative of our numerator, which is 4x minus 3 over the denominator 7 minus 1 raised to 3. Now let's answer this. 14x multiplied by 2x squared will be 28x cubed minus 14x minus 3x will be 42x. And let's multiply 4x minus 3 to this factor, 7x squared minus 5. So first, we multiply 4x to both 7x squared and find negative 1. 4x times 4x raised to 4x times 7x raised to 2 will be 28x minus 4x times negative 5 will be negative 20x. Now we multiply 3 by 7x raised to 2 and negative 1. Negative 3 times 7x raised to 2 will be negative 21x and negative 3 times negative 5 will be negative 15. So just write it. Right, so negative 3 times negative 5 will be positive 15. So now we subtract this one. Go write it this way. 28x raised to 3 and they both have 28x raised to 3. So go this way and negative 42 is raised to 2 and negative 21 x raised to 2 and there will be negative 20 x and plus 50. And we just subtract it. Since both of these are 28 and 1 is negative, just cancel them. And negative 42 minus negative 21 will be negative 63x raised to minus negative 20x plus 15. So now we have this answer here. Now we write it this way. So we have 28x raised to 3 minus 42x raised to 2. And these, all of their integers will be their opposites. So this 28x will be negative 28x raised to 3 and this negative will be positive 21x raised to 2 and plus 20x minus 15. Then cancel 28x and 42 plus 21, negative 42 plus 21x squared will be 20. Will be negative 20x squared plus 20x minus 15. Then write our numerator will be 21x squared plus 20x minus 15 and our Now we're done recalling derivatives. Let's have our fourth lecturer to explain the general formula of, or general form of antiderivatives.
Good day to everyone. My name is Charles Jason Leonasco and I am the lecturer number 4. And I will be talking about the general form of antiderivatives. So let's begin answering number 1. So in this lecture, I will be teaching you how to show the law of the derivative, the antiderivative, which is this. How do we answer this? How do we check if it's correct? So I will be talking about it. So over here, which is it has a numerator of 1 and denominator of x plus 5 x. So what we're going to do is, as you can see, our numerator is 1, so it will be only 1, so it will not show. And next, our denominator has no number, which is it's only x and x plus 5. So it will only show x plus 5, then the constant of integration. And that is all. So let me show more examples on how to do the other numbers, so we can have more knowledge about how to do this. Okay. So number 2 will be as you can see, it has a negative number. So the process will be still the same. The only difference is that there's a negative number. So let's put it in. And next will be, so this is called the natural log, which I forgot to mention. And this is the absolute value, which represents it. Now, let's head on to number 3, which is now there is a number, as you can see. As you can see, there is a number. So what we're going to do is that we put the number outside, so that it appears as 1. And now that we have done it, the next process will be that we can now put it in the natural log, which is the absolute value. This is the result, which is, let's see, constant of integration. So that is for number 3. Then let's head on for number 4, which is in the top and bottom, there is a number and there is a number of the number x, the variable x. So how are we going to do this? So I will teach you how. So the number 3 goes outside and it becomes 1. The 3 is still there, but now our our absolute value in the natural law of curves will become 3 over 3 because the 3 is the denominator and the 3 is here, so as you can see, it's still there. Now next we here, so it's still the number here is still in the value now the constant integration. So that's really all. That's really all to this. Now I'll look into how to check it if it's correct. So let's say this is our problem. So this is the number we want and the result of it was like that. Now, how do we do this? So there's a formula for it. So d dx so like that. Then like that. So this is our formula for it. Now let's check if this answer is truly correct. That we're going to reverse it back to its given form, which is this. So as you can see, we have this and that. So we're going to bring down the over 3 and over here in this part, which is we have to derive it. So it will become 3 over 3x plus 3 because this is the prime one, which is here, and this one is not yet derived one. So what will happen here is this will get cancelled. Then over here it will become that. So it is correct. And that is all. Now, I want you to answer some few examples, and I want you, now that we are done with the general form of antiderivatives, now let's move on to other concepts. Now, I welcome Sir Arani for this lecture.
So let's say here we have the example number 1. Example number 1, which is the integral of x raised to 7 dx. So we have here the solution, or we have here the formula is equal to x and raised to 1 we have here the formula x constant plus 1 over constant plus 1 plus the constant of integration. We substitute. Okay. Now we have the so we copy this. So 9x plus the constant 5 plus 1, and then 5 plus 1 plus the constant of integration. Now we simplify this. 9x, 5 plus 1 is equal to 6. 5 plus 1 is equal to 6 plus c. We know that this expression is the simplest form. So the 9 and 6 are both divisible by 3. So we divide them both by 3. So 9 divided by 3 is equal to 3. X is 6. And 6 divided by 3 is equal to this is C plus. This is the final answer. Now let's move on to example number 3, which is given f of x is equal to 5x raised to 4 minus 8x cubed plus 9x squared. So to get its derivative, we're going to take that and then take the capital F of x. We have here the function integral of f of x, capital F of x dx. So now we have to substitute f of x is equal to integral of 5x raised to 4 minus 8x raised to t plus 9x. So now, So now, we use this formula to get its derivative. 4 plus 1 is equal to 5, and then 4 plus 1 is equal to 5 also. Minus 8x, and then 3 plus 1 is equal to 4, same as also in the denominator, plus 9x, 2 plus 1 is equal to 3, and also 3 here in the denominator. And let us not forget the constant of integration. So to simplify this, we know that this has the simplest form. So 5 divided by 5, so we can just cancel this one. So it will become x raised to 5, and then 8 divided by 4 will be equal to 2x raised to 4 plus, and then 9 divided by 3 will be equal to 3x cubed. And then let us not forget the constant of integration. So this will be your final answer.
Now I'm gonna show you how to integrate this equation. F prime of x is equal to 8x cubed minus 6x squared plus 4x minus 7 into capital F of x. First, we need to write the formula, which is the f of x integral of f prime of x dx, and we need to substitute the formula into this f of x is equal to integral 8x cubed minus 6x squared plus 4x minus 7, and we're gonna have dx. And we're gonna find the antiderivative of x cubed, which is the x raised to 4 divided by 4 minus 6, and the antiderivative of x squared, x cubed minus divided by 3 plus 4x x squared over 2. And if we have the constant, all we need to do is to add x and the constant c. 8 divided by 4 is equal to 2. X to the 4 minus 6 over 3, 2 also. 4 divided by 2 minus 7x plus c. And this is the answer. The next example is f of x is equal to x cubed minus 4x squared plus 8x, and we're gonna find the capital F of x. First is the formula capital F of x integral of f of x dx. Then substitute and we're gonna have dx. Find the antiderivative of x raised to 3, which is x raised to the 4 over 4, or the antiderivative of x squared. And add a constant. There is visible 1, and the answer is 1 over 4 x to the 4 minus 4x3 plus 8 over 2 is equal to 4 x squared plus c. And this is the answer for capital F of x. Next example is example, f prime y is equal to 7 y raised to 3 minus 3y plus 8, and we're gonna find the capital f of y. First, the formula f of y integral f prime of y dy, and substitute the formula and we're gonna find the antiderivative of y raised to 3. And the antiderivative of y. And if we're gonna have a constant, all we need to do is write y and add constant. And this is the general function of f of y. Next is the capital f of y. Formula integral f of y dy, and substitute minus 3y squared over 2 plus 8y plus 6 and dy. First, write the constant, which is the 7 over 4, and find the antiderivative of y to the 4th over 5 minus, write the constant first, 3 over 2, and the antiderivative of y squared is y over 3 plus 8y squared over 2. And we have the new constant, which is b. Cancel 1 over 2 y cubed plus 8 over 2 is equal to 4 y squared plus cy plus d. And this is the answer for capital F of y.
Now, let's focus on how to work with other types of functions. For example, we have the indefinite integral of y plus. So here, it is important to note that we have to identify what is a constant and what is a variable. This y and x. The y is the constant. and the x will be our variable. So, when writing the indefinite integral of pi dx, we just simply need to write pi times x plus c. This will be our final answer. So, what if, let's focus on another example. We have here the rational function. To find the answer, first we need to move the variable to the top. So we have the indefinite integral of 9x raised to, since we have moved the variable to the top, the exponent will be negative. Now we can apply the power rule. We will have indefinite integral 9x negative 5 plus 1 over negative 5 plus 1 plus. Now just add negative 5 exponent with 1. So we have 9x negative 4 over negative 4 plus negative 4. So here, we'll just move the variable back to the bottom because we want to remove the negative symbol. And 9 will become alone and will have its integer change from positive to negative. So we write negative 9 over the negative of before, negative 4 at the bottom will become positive. And we simply write x plus C, and this will be our answer. Next, what if we have a longer function? We're trying to get a left integral of 5x raised to 6 minus 1 over x raised to 4. X raised to 4 plus 5x raised to 4 minus 7x dx. Here, we'll just integrate this. So it will be 5x 6 plus 1 7 over 7 minus. Here, the earlier we did. X minus 3 over minus 3 plus 5x raised to 4 over 4 minus 7x 1 plus 1 plus 1 is 2. Here, we rewrite it again. So we'll have 5 negative 3 divided by 12 will be negative 4 over x raised to 3 plus 5x raised to 4 over 4 minus 7